My daughter, stop what you are doing right now. I need you to hear me tonight, not tomorrow, not when the feeling passes and you convince yourself you were being dramatic tonight, because what I am about to tell you is something I have been waiting for the right moment to say, and tonight is that moment, and you are exactly where I need you to be to receive it. My child, I am not here with comfort, not the kind of comfort that softens the edges of hard things and sends you back to sleep with a warm feeling and no answers. I am here with something harder than comfort and more necessary. I am here with the truth about what has been happening behind your back. Not one thing, two things. And they are connected in ways you have not yet been allowed to see. They are connected by the same root, the same fear, the same hands, and the same prayer I am answering tonight for you. There are people in your life who have been close enough to smile at you and still move against you. People who have sat at your table, used your name, called themselves your family, and in the same breath taken what was never theirs to take. I have watched this happen. My child, I have watched every transaction, every whispered conversation, every document, every meeting that happened without you in the room. I have watched every lie that was planted in a heart that was reaching for yours. I have kept the record that they believed no one was keeping. And tonight I am reading it back to you. Type Amen in the comments if you believe that what was hidden is being uncovered tonight. When you type that word, you are not just commenting on a video. You are sealing a declaration in the spirit that the darkness does not get to stay hidden. You are agreeing with heaven that the record is being opened. Type it now and mean it. I love you, my daughter. I have always loved you. And love does not allow the people closest to you to keep stealing from you without eventually calling them to account. Love does not permit the ones who know your name to use your name to take what belongs to you while you trusted them enough to look away. I am love. And tonight, love is standing up in this room on your behalf. My child, what was done to you was not small. And I am not here to make it smaller than it was. I am here to make sure that the accounting is complete, that the truth is complete, and that the restoration that follows is complete. You deserve the full picture. You deserve to know what you were living inside of without your consent. And you deserve to know that the one who made you was watching all of it and has never once been absent from your story, even when your story felt like something you were living through alone. You felt something. My daughter, you felt it long before tonight. There was a heaviness in your chest when you were around them that you could not name, a specific kind of discomfort that settled over you like a weight the moment you walked into certain rooms where they were present. You noticed it. You noticed the way conversations shifted when you asked certain questions. You noticed the way they moved too quickly to change the subject, or too slowly to give you an answer that should have come immediately. You noticed the way your body sent you signals your mind kept refusing to accept. You called it overthinking. You called it sensitivity. You told yourself that you were imagining things, that you were being unfair, that good people do not do the things you were beginning to suspect. And so because you believed they were good people, you concluded that you must be wrong. You talked yourself down from the ledge of knowing every single time you chose relationship over discernment. You chose peace in the room over truth in your spirit. You chose to look away because looking directly at it would have required you to do something you were not yet ready to do. My daughter, I am here to tell you something clearly. You were not overthinking. You were discerning. And there is a profound difference between a woman who is paranoid and a woman who is perceiving accurately, even when she does not have the language for what she is perceiving yet. Every time that heaviness came, it was not anxiety. It was revelation. It was my way of alerting you that something in your environment was not as it appeared, that someone close to you was not as they appeared, that the face they showed you was not the face they showed each other when you were not in the room. I was there every single time the discernment rose in your chest. I was there every time you almost asked the question that would have started unraveling everything. And I was there every time someone you trusted used their words to reassure you, redirect you, talk you back into peace. When peace was not actually what the moment required. I watched them do it. I watched them use your gentleness against you. I watched them use your desire to keep the peace as the very instrument with which they kept you quiet enough to keep taking, my child. I need you to hear this specifically. They were not able to keep taking from you because you were weak. They were able to keep taking from you because you were generous. Because trust is something you extend fully, not cautiously. Because you were raised to believe that family is a safe category, and the violation of that category by the very people who occupied it was something your spirit resisted processing for as long as it could. That resistance was not stupidity. It was a heart trying to protect a belief that love is real, and love is real. What they did was the aberration. You were not the problem. But I also watched something else. I watched you keep going. I watched you stay soft in an environment that was not as safe as it appeared. I watched you pray. I watched you cry in rooms by yourself, trying to understand why something in your gut felt so unsettled, even when everything on the surface looked fine. I watched you choose love again and again. Not because you were naive, but because love is in your nature. And even when love was being exploited, you kept choosing it because you could not figure out how to be anything else. That is not weakness, my child. That is the kind of character I cultivate in daughters I am preparing for something significant. The ones I trust with the biggest testimonies are always the ones who kept their hearts open in the seasons that should have made them close. You kept yours open. I know what that cost you. Type, I felt it too in the comments if there was a heaviness around certain people that you could not explain. Type it if your spirit knew before your mind was willing to admit it. When you type those words, you are honoring your own discernment. You are saying to heaven that you trust what I put inside you to alert you, even when the world around you told you not to trust it. Now let me show you the first layer. There are two people who are connected to you. Connected closely enough that they had access to information, access to your business, access to processes and documents and transfers and opportunities that touched your finances. And they used that access in ways they never asked your permission to use it. The first one moves. This person is verbal confident, the kind of person who volunteers to help at exactly the right moment, who positions themselves in helpful places when you are at your most distracted, your most overwhelmed, your most trusting. They offered to handle things. They offered to take things off your plate, and you let them because you were tired, because you believed in them, because you thought that what they were doing was for you when it was, in the quietest and most calculated way, for themselves. This person knew exactly what they were doing. This was not a mistake. This was not a misunderstanding. My daughter, this person put their name where your name should have been, signed documents where your signature was the one that mattered, moved money through processes you were not watching closely enough because you trusted them to watch it for you. They smiled at you during this entire period. They sat across from you and had normal conversations and asked how you were doing and looked at you with eyes that showed you nothing of what was happening beneath the surface. The second one was quieter. The second one did not initiate. The second one stood beside the first one and did not speak. And my child, I need you to understand this completely. Silence in the face of wrong is not neutrality. Silence that watches someone steal from someone you claim to love is not innocence. The second person knew, the second person saw, and the second person made a choice every single time they saw it happen to say nothing, to do nothing, to allow it to continue. That choice is a choice. It has a name, and it is just as accountable before me as the one who moved the money. One moved and the other watched. Both are responsible. Both will stand before my record. They told themselves a story about what they were doing. Human beings always tell themselves a story. The story they told themselves was that you would not notice, that you did not need it the way they needed it, that you had other resources, other options, other ways to recover. They told themselves it was not really stealing because of the relationship. They told themselves that if you had really wanted to know, you would have asked more questions. They used your trust as the reason they were permitted to take from you, as if your willingness to believe in them was your consent to be robbed. They mistook your trust for ignorance. They mistook your grace for permission. They mistook your gentleness for an opening, my daughter. They are not monsters. I want you to understand this too, because the truth I am giving you tonight is not designed to turn you into a woman made of rage. They are people who let fear and greed rewrite who they wanted to be. They told themselves it was not stealing. They told themselves it was not manipulation, and the lie they told themselves became the lie they told everyone else, including themselves, until they could no longer see the shape of what they had built. That does not make them innocent, but it makes them something more complicated than evil, and I need you to hold that complexity without letting it become the reason you forgive what has not yet been accounted for. But I was keeping the record they thought. No one was keeping. I was in every room. I was on every call. I was watching every transfer. I know every amount, every date, every name on every document that should have carried yours. I have not missed a single detail, not one, and my record does not fade, does not get deleted, does not get rewritten by the story they told themselves to sleep at night. Type "God saw what they did" in the comments. Type it as a declaration, not just an observation. When you type those words, you are agreeing with heaven that the record is complete, that nothing was hidden from the one who holds all records, and that the account will be settled in full. Let me read the record to you, my child. I was there when the first transfer was made that did not carry your name. I saw the moment it was initiated. I saw whose hands were at the keyboard, whose authorization was used, whose name appeared where yours was supposed to appear. I saw the confirmation screen. I saw the notification that was routed to the wrong account. I saw the moment they breathed out with relief when it worked, when the process completed and no alarm was raised, and the transfer settled quietly, and they looked at each other and said nothing because nothing needed to be said. I was there when the document was signed. I saw whose hands were on the pen. I saw the date. I saw the witness who was present, who also said nothing. I know every party in that room. I know every person who participated and every person who simply allowed. My record holds their names and their choices, and the exact moment those choices were made. Nothing in my record has been rounded or softened or edited for context. It is precise. It is complete. It is exactly what happened. I was there when they sat together and divided what was yours, and looked at each other and told each other it was acceptable. I heard the words they used to justify it to each other. I heard them minimize it. I heard them use your name in a conversation about what to do with what they took. And in that moment, your name in their mouths was just a variable in an equation they were already solving in their favor. They spoke your name while taking from you. That specific detail is in my record. I was there when you came to them with questions that were close to the truth, and I watched how they answered you. I watched the specific way they deflected. I watched the particular words they chose, the ones designed to make your instincts feel unreliable, the ones designed to make you feel as though the problem was your perception rather than their action. I watched them teach you to doubt yourself, my daughter. I watched that lesson sink in, and I saw what it cost you. I saw what it cost your confidence. I saw what it cost your ability to trust your own interior signals. They did not just take your money. They worked on your mind. My record does not match theirs. The version of events they have constructed, the one they used to look themselves in the mirror, the one they would tell if anyone ever asked, does not match what I watched happen. And in every disagreement between their record and mine, mine is the one that stands. Mine is the one that is sealed. Mine is the one that will be the final word on what occurred. They thought they were careful. They thought that because they used relationship and proximity and access, it would be untraceable. They thought that if they kept the amount subtle enough, spread things out long enough, built the story of helpfulness consistently enough, no one would ever look closely. They forgot that there is one who never has to look closely because I never looked away. Type "Heaven has the real record" in the comments. When you type it, you are declaring that the truth does not depend on what they say or what they can prove or what gets acknowledged in the natural world. Heaven has kept it, heaven holds it, and heaven will settle it. Now I need to show you the second layer, my daughter. This is the one I need you to sit with. This is the one that connects everything, because when you understand this, you will understand why both things happened together, why they were never separate events, and why what is being restored to you tonight is not just one thing, but two. The same two people took something else from you, my child. I need you to hear me clearly, because what I am about to say requires you to hold two truths at the same time. The first truth is that the connection between you and your person is real. It has always been real. It was real before you met him, written before either of you understood what was being written. The second truth is that someone interfered with that connection. Not permanently, not successfully in the final sense. But they interfered, and you deserve to know that what has felt confusing and unclear and delayed between you and him is not the whole story. You have been carrying a confusion that was installed from the outside. Tonight, I am showing you where it came from. They spoke to him. These same two people, the ones who moved your money and the ones who watched it happen. They also moved against your love story. They found access there too, access through relationship, through trust, through the specific kind of closeness that allowed them to say things to him that he was not prepared to defend against because they came from people he had reason to believe. And unlike the financial moves, which required paperwork and transactions and coordination, this move required only words. Words are lighter. Words travel farther. Words land in places that are harder to inspect. They told him things that were not true. They told him things about you that were designed to plant seeds of doubt in a heart that was already reaching for yours. They told him you were not serious about what you said you wanted. They told him you were difficult in ways he would discover later. They described you in terms that did not match who you are, but that, said by people he trusted, in moments when he was not yet certain enough to push back, landed somewhere inside him and began to grow. Seeds of doubt do not announce themselves. They are not dramatic. They are quiet and patient, and they work slowly. And by the time a person notices something has changed in how they feel, they cannot trace it back to the conversation where the seed was planted. He did not stop loving you, my daughter. That is what I need you to receive completely before I continue. He did not make a decision to withdraw from you because he saw something in you that changed his mind. He withdrew because someone he trusted gave him a version of you that was distorted. And he did not have enough information yet to know it was a lie. And the doubt that was planted in him was quiet enough that he mistook it for his own instinct rather than someone else's interference. He is not guilty of what was done to you. He is a second victim of the same people. They did not just take your money. They took months of your love story. They took conversations that should have already happened between you and him. They took clarity that he should have had. They took the confidence he had been building in what he felt for you, and they reached in and shook it while smiling at both of you. And they did it for the same reason they took the money. Because a woman who has both financial security and a love that is moving toward her is a woman who no longer needs them. A woman who is fully provided for and fully loved is a woman who cannot be controlled, and they needed to be needed more than they needed you to flourish. My child, I need you to absorb that. Sit with it until it settles. They did not do this because they hated you. They did it because they loved what they got from keeping you at a certain level. And they were willing to take from you to stay there. That is a specific kind of harm. It is not the harm of an enemy. It is the harm of a person who needed you diminished in order to feel large, who needed you alone in order to feel necessary, who needed you financially dependent in order to remain central to your life. They used closeness as a tool of control. And now the tool is being broken. Type "I see it now" in the comments. Not because you are angry, though anger is an honest response to what I am showing you tonight. Type it because you are receiving clarity. Type it because something that was murky is becoming visible. Type it because understanding what was actually happening is the beginning of the healing that comes after. My daughter, let me tell you what has been happening with him. He has not been at peace. Whatever settled into him after those conversations, whatever doubt took root after someone he trusted planted it, it has not sat comfortably. That is because something that is not true cannot fully take root in a heart that is genuinely connected to truth. He has had moments of clarity where he thinks of you, and the clarity feels entirely different from the confusion. The confusion feels borrowed. The clarity feels like his own, and he has not known what to do with the gap between the two. He has felt you in his quiet moments, not in a way he can explain, not in a way he would necessarily know how to articulate if someone asked him why you came to his mind, but you do come to him in the in-between moments, the ones that happen before sleep and after waking and in the middle of ordinary days, when nothing in particular is happening to direct his thoughts toward you. You appear. And when you appear in those moments, the version of you that appears is not the version that was described to him. It is the version I wrote. It is the original. It is who you actually are, and that original version has a quality that the distorted version never had. It feels like truth. My child, he has been confused about why there is a gap between what he feels in those quiet moments and what he told himself he decided. That gap is not something he created. That gap was installed by people who used their access to his trust to install it. And here is what I need you to know. Confusion is not the same as not caring. Confusion is not the same as not wanting you. Confusion is evidence of interference, not of changed feelings. When interference is removed, what was there before it returns, and I am removing the interference. Right now, as you receive this message from me, something is shifting in him. There is a stirring that he cannot locate the source of, a return of something he had been pushing down because he did not have the context to understand why it kept returning. He will not understand why you come to him with such clarity tonight. He will not be able to explain why the doubt that was sitting in him feels suddenly lighter, suddenly less convincing, suddenly like something he received from the outside rather than something he felt from the inside. But I will know because I am the one doing it. I am the one lifting what was placed on him. I am the one pulling out what was planted in him. And soon, in a form and at a time that I am already arranging, you will know too. You will not have to wonder. You will not have to interpret signals or read between lines when it comes. It will carry a clarity that matches your own. Type a face came to me in the comments if someone came to your mind as you received these words. Type it if there is a person you have been holding in your heart. Someone whose silence has confused you. Someone whose distance has not matched what you know you felt between you. Type it and know that I see exactly who you are thinking of. And I am already at work in that situation, in ways neither of you can yet fully see, my daughter. I want you to do something right now before we go any further. You have just received 2 truths in the span of this message. 2 truths about 2 people who were close enough to take from you and motivated enough to do it. 1 truth about money, 1 truth about love. Both of them are still processing inside you. That is how it is supposed to feel. The weight of what I am showing you is real because what was done to you was real. I am not asking you to minimize the weight, but I am asking you to do something with it. There is a place, a link in the description below, and a QR code on the screen in front of you, where you can sow a seed tonight. And I want to tell you what that act means in the context of what you are receiving right now. When you have just been shown that 2 people took from you in secret, on 2 levels, for the same reason. Sowing a seed is not a transaction. It is a declaration. It is you saying with your hands and your intention and your act of faith that the spirit of theft does not get to be the last thing written in your story. It is you saying that you are not a woman who was depleted and stayed depleted. It is you saying to heaven that the same God who is exposing what was taken from you in secret is the God you trust with what you choose to release in the open. My child, when you sow a seed tonight from a heart that just received the truth about a double betrayal and still chose to believe in restoration, you are not responding to guilt or obligation or a fear that something will go wrong if you do not give. You are responding to a revelation. You are responding to a moment of clarity. You are saying, I believe you. I believe what you showed me tonight. I believe that what was taken in secret will be returned in the open. And this seed is my agreement with that outcome. It is a declaration that the spirit of theft over my finances is broken. It is a declaration that the interference in my love story is dismantled. Sow it from that place, and watch what heaven does with an act of faith that comes from the middle of a double revelation. Scan the QR code on your screen, or visit the link in the description below. And when you do it with that intention. Do it as a declaration that the same hands that tried to take everything from you are not the hands that write your ending. And while you are here, if this message reached you in a way that you needed tonight, do not leave this channel without subscribing. There is more where this came from, and I want to make sure it finds you every time it is meant to. Now let me deal with the first thing they took. I am removing their names from what was never theirs. My daughter, every place where their name appears in a record that should have carried yours, I am already working to correct the accounting, not in a way that they announce, not necessarily in a way that comes immediately or in the exact form they took from you. But the adjustment has begun, The correction is already in motion in the spirit before it appears in the natural, and when it manifests in the natural, it will manifest in a form they cannot intercept. The documents they signed, I am nullifying their claim. Not because of your anger, not because you demanded justice loudly, but because my standard of ownership does not match what they wrote on paper. What I assign to you cannot be permanently reassigned by their hands. They moved money. Yes. They signed names. Yes. They completed transactions that looked legitimate on the surface because they used legitimate access to do illegitimate things. But access is not the same as authority. Proximity is not the same as permission, and what they did with the access they had was not authorized by me, my child. It was authorized by their fear, and fear does not have the standing to authorize a transfer of what I decreed was yours, and so I am pulling back what was moved. I am rerouting what was rerouted. The financial restoration that is coming to you will not look like a simple reversal. It will not necessarily come from them, because what comes from them might come with conditions or contamination that I do not want to attach to what you receive. It will come in a form that is clean, in a form that is new, in a form that carries my signature rather than theirs. And because it will come that way, there will be nothing they can claim credit for, and nothing they can take a portion of, and nothing they can position themselves near to intercept. What they took may not return in the exact form they stole it, but it will return. It will return in full measure, in a form they cannot trace and cannot stop. And when it comes, you will know in your spirit that it is from me, even if you cannot fully explain to anyone else why you are certain of that. You will recognize the fingerprint of restoration. It has a particular quality that theft does not. Theft leaves a hollowness even when you have the thing. Restoration leaves a fullness even before you fully understand how you got it. And there is one more thing I am doing in this moment, my daughter. Something that extends beyond your account and into your bloodline. The pattern that allowed two people to use proximity and family and trust to take from you without consequence. That pattern does not continue past you. It does not move forward into the next generation. Your daughters will not be robbed by people who share their name while smiling at them over a table. Your daughters will have the discernment from childhood that you were taught to suppress. They will not be trained to override their instincts in the name of keeping the peace. They will not inherit the wound that allowed you to be taken advantage of. The wound stops with you. The correction begins with you. The generational pattern of financial exploitation by intimate enemies. That pattern was already breaking the moment you opened yourself to this truth tonight. My child, you are not just receiving justice for yourself. You are closing a door that has been open in your family for longer than you know. You are the generation where the cycle ends. And that is not a small thing. That is one of the most significant acts a daughter of mine can perform in her lifetime. Closing what should have been closed before she was born. You are doing it. Right now by being willing to see clearly. Type "my name is still on it" in the comments. Type it as a declaration that every transfer, every document, every amount that moved through hands that were not yours still carries your name in heaven's record. Type it as a declaration that reassignment in the natural does not change assignment in the spirit. Type it and feel what moves in your chest when you do. Now I am turning to the second thing. I am dismantling what was built between them and him. Every structure they erected between his heart and yours, every lie they planted in a conversation he trusted, every seed of doubt they placed in the ground of his certainty, I am pulling each one out by the root tonight, not gradually tonight. This is not a slow process in the spirit. The decision has already been made. The decree has already been issued. I am already at work in him, in a way that feels to him like something shifting, something lifting, something that was sitting heavy, suddenly weighing less. He will not initially understand what changed. He will only know that something has. And the something that changed is this: the interference is being removed. Every word they spoke about you that was not true, I am taking it out of the place it settled inside him. Every impression they shaped, I am reshaping it. Every moment of doubt they manufactured, I am replacing it with the original clarity he felt before they spoke. He will begin to remember who you actually are, not the version they described, not the edited portrait they painted with their words in their private conversations with him. The original, the woman I made, my child. The woman whose character they could not actually change by describing it inaccurately, because character does not change simply because someone misrepresents it. He will begin to remember the specific things about you that made him feel certain before the doubt came. Specific moments, specific words you said, specific ways you moved through the world that he witnessed with his own eyes before anyone told him what to think about what he saw. The fog they created is lifting. I am the one lifting it. I need you to understand something about my involvement in this, because I want you to have it correctly in your spirit. This is not about revenge against them. I am not dismantling what they built between him and you in order to punish them, though what was done will absolutely be accounted for. I am dismantling it because it was built on material that never belonged in that space. Lies do not belong between two people I have been drawing toward each other. Manipulation does not belong in the process of two hearts finding each other. What they inserted between you and him was foreign matter in a holy process. And I am removing it the way a body removes something that does not belong there, not violently, but completely and permanently. My daughter, this is about restoration for you. Restoration of the love story that was being written before interference arrived. Restoration of the clarity that was developing in him before doubt was installed. Restoration of the months and the conversations and the movements toward each other that should have already happened, but were delayed by something that had no right to delay them. What they stole from your love story is being returned, not as a replica, not as a diminished version, but as the full thing with the additional depth that comes from having survived the interference and arrived at the other side of it. What you receive when this is restored will carry the weight of what it cost to get there, and that weight is not a burden. It is a testimony, my child. Testimonies are not formed in easy seasons. They are formed in exactly the kind of season you have just been through. And when yours comes, it will have a weight and a specificity that only comes from truth. You will be able to say exactly what happened. You will be able to say exactly what was taken, and you will be able to say exactly what was returned. In full, type release the lies they planted in the comments. Type it as a prayer, as a decree, as a command over the situation. Type it as an agreement with what heaven is already doing in the spirit right now. When you type those words, you are participating in the dismantling. You are adding your voice to mine in the pulling out of every root they put in the ground between you and your person. My daughter, I want to prepare you for what comes next, because what I am about to release into your natural world requires that you be watching for it with clear eyes and a prepared heart. There will be 3 signs. I want to tell you what they are so that when they arrive, you recognize them as the answers to what you have been carrying, rather than coincidences that you let pass without receiving. The first sign will be financial. It will not be the full picture yet. It will be a detail. It may be a number that surfaces unexpectedly, a document that comes across your path that you were not looking for, a conversation you overhear or participate in that reveals more than the other person intended to reveal. It may be something that seems small on the surface, something that another person might dismiss as ordinary. But inside you, when you encounter it, there will be a recognition, a knowing, a feeling of pieces moving into place. My child, do not dismiss it because it is small. The first thread of a hidden thing is always small. That is how hidden things are structured. But the thread connects to everything, and I am already on the other end of it, pulling. When that moment comes, I want you to notice it without moving toward it too quickly. You do not need to confront immediately. You do not need to build a case in a single day. What surfaces first will be the first thread of a thread that I am already pulling. Your job is simply to hold it, to acknowledge it in the silence of your own spirit, and to trust that I am handling the rest of the unraveling. The moment you see the first thread is not the moment to pull everything. It is the moment to say, I see you. I see you working. And then to step back and let me continue. The second sign will come from one of the 2 people themselves. They will behave strangely around you, not in a dramatic way that announces itself, in a subtle way that your discernment, now awake and no longer being overridden, will catch. They may be overly kind in a way that does not match the ordinary baseline of your relationship, overly attentive, overly generous, overly interested in your well-being in a way that has a quality to it that is not the same as genuine care. Or they may go the other direction and become suddenly distant, suddenly awkward in your presence, suddenly avoidant of certain topics or certain rooms in conversations. Or they may bring up money. They may raise financial topics in a way that feels slightly rehearsed, slightly more careful than the topic warrants, as if they have been thinking about what to say before they get into the room with you. That rehearsed quality will be the signal. That will be guilt beginning to surface. My daughter, guilt, when it surfaces in human behavior, always has a particular texture that the discernment of a woman who is no longer suppressing her instincts can detect. You do not need to respond. You do not need to react. You do not need to do anything with what you observe in that moment, except observe it. Your silence will be your authority. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them fill the space however they fill it, and know that what you are seeing is the beginning of an accountability they cannot escape. The third sign is the one I know you are most waiting for. He will reach out. I am not going to tell you exactly what form it will take, because I do not want you to dismiss the real thing when it comes. Because it does not look precisely like the version you imagined. It may be a message that seems small on the surface. It may be a question that seems ordinary but carries something underneath it. It may be an appearance in your life that you did not engineer or predict. But when it comes, there will be a quality to it that is different from anything that came from him in the period of confusion. The confusion will be gone from how he sounds. The doubt will be gone from how he moves toward you. What was borrowing his energy and attention and certainty has been removed, and what will remain is what was there before the interference arrived. My child, that is because I removed what was causing it. Type "I am watching" for the signs in the comments. Type it as a declaration of readiness. Type it as an acknowledgement that you are receiving what I am showing you tonight with open eyes and an expectant heart. Type it as a commitment to yourself that when these things arrive, you will not dismiss them or explain them away or talk yourself out of recognizing them. You have been talking yourself out of recognizing things for long enough. That season is finished. Now let me speak to the part of you that is afraid to receive both of these things at once. My daughter, there is a version of you who is listening to everything I have said tonight and is already preparing, in the quietest part of your heart, to sabotage some part of what is coming. Not because you want to, but because receiving two significant things at the same time requires a kind of internal readiness that most women who have been through what you have been through do not feel they have permission to access. You have been conditioned, by what happened to you, to expect that good things come with hidden costs. You have been trained, by people who needed you uncertain, to second-guess the arrival of anything that looks like too much at once. I am here to tell you, this is not too much at once. This is exactly the amount that was always supposed to arrive. The delay made it look like abundance when it came, but it was never more than what I had already assigned. It was just late, and it was late because something interfered with the delivery. Now the interference is removed, and what was always yours is arriving. My child, you do not need to manage it or dilute it or make it smaller so that it feels more believable. You are allowed to receive the full amount. The financial restoration will be moving toward you, and there will be a moment when you are tempted to confront too early, to demand answers too loudly, to move toward the two people before I have finished arranging the full revelation. I am asking you not to do that. Confronting before the full picture has surfaced does not speed the process up. It gives them warning. It gives them time to rearrange their story. It gives them an opportunity to use your urgency against you in the same way they have used your trust against you. Wait for the third thread before you move, not because justice requires your patience, but because the fullness of the restoration I am preparing for you requires that the accounting happen in my timing and not in your anger. And the love story that is returning to you, the heart that is being cleared of what was planted in it, will require that you keep your own heart clear as well. The waiting has cost you something. The silence from him, the confusion between you, the months that were taken by someone else's interference, those things left marks, and there will be a moment when he moves back toward you, and something in you wants to test him, to withhold, to protect yourself from the risk of being hurt again by someone you trusted again. My daughter, I understand that impulse. I do not condemn it, but I am asking you to recognize it when it comes and to choose differently. Stay quiet in the places where speaking too soon would cost you. Stay clean in the places where bitterness would contaminate what you are being given. Stay present to the signs as they come rather than constructing the story in advance, and then trying to make reality match your construction. The same hands that tried to take everything from you are about to watch you receive everything they could not. They will watch the financial return. They will watch the love story restore, and they will have no mechanism to stop any of it, because what I return to you, I protect with a covering they cannot penetrate, cannot navigate around, and cannot purchase a way through. My child, stay quiet, stay clean, stay present, and receive both. Type I choose restoration in the comments, not revenge, not exposure for its own sake, not the satisfaction of being proven right, though that will come in its time. Type it as a declaration that what you are choosing in this moment, even after everything I have shown you tonight about what was done against you, is restoration, your own, theirs if they choose it. The full picture, the complete return, the finished testimony. Type it and let the choice be witnessed in the spirit. Sleep tonight, my daughter. Sleep. The sleep of a woman who just found out the truth about two thieves, in two layers, over two categories of her life, and who sat with that truth and chose restoration over revenge. Sleep, the sleep of a woman who received what I showed her and let it land without closing her heart against the next thing I am bringing. Sleep, the sleep of a woman whose name is sealed in heaven's record as someone I did not leave undefended, someone I watched and covered and waited with through the entire season of Not Yet. The people who tried to dim your future did not know they were being watched by the one who wrote it. They did not know that the record they thought they were keeping privately, the transfers and the documents and the whispered words to a man who trusted them, was being kept in full, in detail, in the kind of accuracy that does not fade and does not get revised and does not accept their edited version. They moved in the dark and did not consider that darkness is not dark to me. Every shadow they operated in was fully lit from where I was standing. My child, they moved with the confidence of people who believed they were invisible. They were never invisible. Not for a single moment. The money they moved without your permission is already being moved back. By hands they cannot see and cannot stop. The rerouting has already begun in the spirit. What looks like it is still in their possession in the natural is already released from their names in the eternal. The manifestation in the natural world is a matter of timing, and the timing is mine. And what I set into motion does not stall, does not lose momentum, and does not arrive incomplete. It arrives whole. The love they tried to intercept was never theirs to hold. It was sealed before they ever opened their mouths to say one word against you to someone who trusted them enough to listen. What is sealed cannot be permanently unsealed by words from people who did not write the original document. They did not write your love story. They do not get to edit it. They inserted themselves into a chapter that was not about them, and I am removing every sentence they wrote there and restoring the original text. My daughter, when I restore a text, I do not restore a damaged version. I restore the original, the one that existed before the interference, and in some cases the restoration is more beautiful than the original would have been, because the story now includes the survival. And survival has a depth that undisturbed paths do not carry. The silence you kept when you wanted to fight was not weakness. Every moment you chose not to confront before you had the full picture. Every moment you absorbed the discomfort of knowing something was wrong without having the proof to act on it. Every moment you stayed soft in a situation that should have made you hard, heaven recorded it. The restraint you exercised was not you being passive. It was you being prepared. I was preparing you in your silence for a receiving that requires a heart that is open rather than defended. You stayed open. That decision will be honored in what comes next. My child, you did not lose. You were being protected until you were strong enough to receive everything at once. Type I am ready to receive both in the comments. Type it as the declaration it is. You are ready for the financial restoration. You are ready for the love story to resume from where it was before interference arrived. You are ready to hold both simultaneously without shrinking, without deflecting, without making yourself smaller to make either one more manageable. Type it because it is true. You are ready. I would not be showing you this tonight if you were not. And for the woman who has received everything I have shown her tonight, who has held the weight of 2 betrayals from 2 people she trusted, who has let the truth settle in her without collapsing and without hardening, who is still here at the end of this message, with her heart open and her spirit engaged, my daughter, I love you. I have always loved you. Long before those 2 ever spoke your name in the wrong room, long before they signed documents that should have carried your name, long before they opened their mouths to a man who was reaching for you and filled the air between you with words that did not belong there. I had already sealed your name in the right place, in the room where destinies are written, in the place where the record that matters is kept. Your name has always been there. It will always be there. And nothing they did in any room on any day with any pen or any word changes what I wrote before the foundations of the world. My child, they could not erase you from my record. They could not remove you from the story I was writing. They could not intercept what I decreed would reach you. They had access to your proximity. They had access to your trust, but they never had access to the place where what is yours is actually held. That place was locked before they ever entered your life. And what is locked there is still locked there. Still yours, still waiting, still coming. Type it as done in the comments. Type it as your final agreement with everything heaven has declared over your situation tonight. Type it as your seal on the restoration. Type it as your acknowledgement that the decree has been issued. The work has begun. The record is being settled, and the love story is being cleared. Type it because it is the truest thing you can say in this moment. It is done. I love you. I am proud of you. Go.